Alrighty. Okay. Let me go and get Instagram up and get this thing started. Oops, go back. All right, guys, I'm just going to get this started. I see you guys are coming in. Yay. Okay. Hey, E-Queen. Hello. Awesome. Okay, so we should be good and we should be live. Alrighty. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I hope you guys are doing well. This is your friend, your girl, Tahiri Divine, coming with you ladies for another episode of Yoni Talk Wednesdays. So yes, so I'm so excited to be with you ladies and doing this series as we just talk about all things Yoni as it pertains to the Yoni space. So today I'm talking about pretty much going into cycles. And this is something that's been very important in my path as far as connecting with my Yoni, connecting to the divine feminine, connecting to the great mother, and really what's led me into my spiritual practice. And just connecting with myself spiritually. So the Yoni is a very important factor for us ladies, because not only is it, our seat of pleasure, it's also our place of creation. It's also the place where we feel the most emotion, where we carry the most weight. Typically, the heart, the mind, and the womb space is considered for the female body as the trinity part of the body. And so all three of these are connected. As we talk about this constant theme of the trinity, we see this in the subconscious mind, unconscious mind, conscious mind, or mind, body, spirit, or soul. So we see this connectivity theme of three come up very much. And so for my own journey, connecting with this cycle or being aware of the cycle has helped me to become aware of my own patterns and my own practice in life. So without too much explaining and further ado, we're going to get straight into today's conversation on why it's important to recognize cycles, our own personal cycles, as well as the cycles that are about the atmospheric cycles. Hey, to High Priestess. Hey, Sneed. Hello. Welcome. So this is really important to really understand, because we talked a little bit about over the summer about the 4-part series cycle, or 4-part cycle of the menstrual cycle, right? We talked about a spring week, your summer, fall, and winter week, and importance of recognizing which week you're in or which cycle that you're in, because this is actually directly connected. This is the beautiful thing about being a woman, being born in this female body, being animated in a female body, is that our bodies are Merkabas, or it's our vehicle, it's our way to actually to gather information, because the body gathers information. That's through DNA. Yes, we studying now that part. Yes. So through DNA, we do so through information that we take in, whether it's like audio information, visual information, sensory of senses, like smell, taste. So all of this information is being stored within the body. The same way we even store emotional information, right? That's stored within our body. And a lot of us women, a lot of us are holding a lot of our emotional information, or emotional weight, or emotional trauma. Particularly, it's held in our womb space. And when this area or chakra point, which we consider between the sacral and the root chakra, when these central points are off balance or not in its natural cycle or path, this is where we can start to see how our manifestations are not coming into. We see a disconnect between the heart mind space. We see a disconnect between the body and the mind. We talked about going to autopilot. There's times we go into autopilot and we just becoming our desires and then not even our own desires, because we have picked up so many ideals for other people and our upbringing, we're acting out others' desires. So again, that's why I really have to focus so much on knowing thyself, because when you can know yourself, you can really build up and create and live how you choose and want, and be more cognizant of what you're attracting to yourself, and how you just have your overall experience, particularly being female. What has really been revolutionary for me in my life. Hey, All Boss One, thank you for coming in. What has been revolutionary for me is to get into the practice of Yoni, even understanding what the Yoni was. So much of my own personal hangups as it came to my body was being female. I regretted that I was born female. I regretted that I was born the firstborn, right? There's a firstborn challenge going on right now. And I can remember growing up, I felt bad that I was born first. I felt bad that I was born female. I felt, and that was coming from the environment I grew up in, the way my parents was, the home setting, the culture that was surrounded within me, or I was embedded in. So so much of my existence or existential belief about femininity, female, all that was a very negative, or this lower ideal, or this some kind of like secondhand citizen type of identity. So getting into the Yoni practice has helped me reconnect this part of myself that is full and whole, and stepping more into my power, not into this power as far as being some type of like being like I have power over men and I can do what I want with my Yoni or my pussy, or however some women want to express it. That is one form. That is some empowerment that can come from tapping into a Yoni practice, or becoming aware of your Yoni, and using your funneling your Yoni as a way to transmute your spiritual energy and your sexual energy, right? Not limiting to just those things, and also realizing that you can use this space, this energy, to create, not just so much just to exert it in sexual expression, but also recognize like I can actually use my cycles, the sexual expression that I feel when I feel more, satiable. I can use that time to create something, or put that energy into a project, or to a like whether it's decorating your home, or whether it's a business, or whether it's at work, whether it's in school, understand your own cycle so that you can actually really maximize it, and then just be in flow with your own life. My whole life, I was out of flow, I was out of balance. And so today we're talking about cycles, but I also want to talk. Yeah, my eyebrows are crazy right now. I can not never. Some days I have really good eyebrows. Other days it'd be like, girl, eyebrow wear. But anywho, not to focus on that. Let's focus on the topic, because this is what's important. One of the practices that I've been doing right now, I've been really charting my own cycles. I've actually been doing this for years. I got off of birth control about maybe 6 years ago, and I went through it all. I was exploring with like the pill. I did, I didn't do it all. I didn't do the shot because I had a friend that did it, or actually a friend of a friend, one of my friend's friends did it. And just what happened to her, I was like, oh no, I ain't about to blow up into no Oompa Loompa. You ain't doing me like that. This ain't going out like that. Okay. But anyway, so, but just going through the different, birth controls and using it for different purposes, because again, it was like being a really heavy bleeder at the time. So I had to, I didn't have to, but it was recommended by the gynecologist to regulate my cycle, right? So using it to regulate my cycle. And that's a lot of issues that a lot of women have. We believe that we have irregular cycles. And actually, a lot of us do have irregular cycles. And they're trying to have us to believe what's considered to be a normal cycle is normal. But one thing to understand is just because something's normal doesn't make it natural. So we have a lot of normalcy in things that are not natural or that are unnatural. So having heavy bleeding is not necessarily a natural experience to have. Having bleeding last longer than 3 days is actually not as natural as we may have been programmed to believe that it's normal or natural to have these experiences. So for me, it was really about taking hold and grasp of my of my cycles, and also to recognize how I can actually change my cycles. Before I go that far ahead, let's keep it right here on measuring cycles. So how do you measure your cycle? Well, first, the things to do if you want to measure your cycle, or why do you even want to measure your cycles? Well, let's start there. Let's start with the why. Why would you want to measure your cycles? In the beginning of me starting my cycle journey, it was about measuring when I needed to know when my period was coming. All right. So you know how we start off, ladies, we start off, you're measuring your cycle. If you are measuring a cycle, to at least know when your period would start, so you won't have those oopsie daisy at school or work or whenever a situation will just pop up. You at least be somewhat aware, right? So it starts off there. As we get older, then we want to be, we're getting more active. We're tapping into our Kundalini sexual energy. Then it becomes like, okay, well, maybe I should know this to monitor when not to get pregnant, or when to get pregnant. Most time we're trying not to get pregnant, but not really properly knowing our own personal cycles. We end up getting caught up, right? Birth control caused me to have heavy bleeding, so I have to track my cycles. Yeah, that was the same thing that happened to me. Yeah, it actually caused more bleeding. It actually caused me to bleed longer. I would bleed sometimes over 7 days. And I didn't know that was hemorrhaging. And then I already suffered from, honestly, when I look at it, my being anemic, I don't think I really became anemic until after I started my menstrual cycle. Because I can't remember being anemic prior to that, or being aware of my iron levels prior to that. So yeah, that was something, was an experience that happened to me. It actually created my cycles to be longer, and they were terribly painful. And so, and on top of that, dealing with the pain of having your cycles or whatever is connected to that area, and then the menstrual cramps, and then, the psychological toppings of experiences that you have, it really can just really damage your self-worth and your self-identity. And that was really what this journey is about for me. It was about establishing my self-worth and self-identity, because again, so much of my belief system was this idea of some patriarchal God that created man and pulled woman out the womb and then cursed the woman. And it was just like this whole doom, gloom, anti-female, anti-feminine. And although when I was heavy engulfed in it, I rode with that ideology, I still had a battle within me with it, because again, it wasn't speaking to fully the truth for me and my purpose and my journey. So getting to this side of the aspect of really healing that part of my identity as it comes to my self-worth and what am I value my worth, and learning that my body is not a vehicle of pain. Because again, we put a lot of pain on the body. So this Yoni practice, or being aware of your Yoni and working with your Yoni and connecting with it, before you even want to work with it, you have to connect with it. One of the important parts of my journey when it came to recognizing myself and coming to a place where I say, okay, my body's no longer going to be a vehicle of pain for me. It's going to be a vehicle of pleasure. It's going to be a vehicle of creation. It's going to be the vehicle I use to express and live and have my creative, full, abundant being. And that took a lot of work with developing myself and letting go of ideologies and belief systems and practices that have affirmed my prior understanding of myself. Yes, me too. I had to get a fibroid removed from my uterus. Oh my goodness, yeah. There's just so much that as women that we deal and we carry and we store that turns into something like fibroids or PCOS. Oh my goodness, PCOS. Yes. So it's just so many other problems and disharmony that happens in this space that's not so much talked about and so much not connected. Even something as somebody who wants to get pregnant, maybe they have difficulty getting pregnant, and that plays on our psyche. Yeah, my uterus is covered in fibroids. Oh my God, y'all, there's just so many women that experience that. And it's interesting to go into this conversation, if you guys don't mind me. We mask so much of our experience because of we mask ourselves. We try to hide the shame and the guilt that we feel about ourselves as it pertains to our sexuality, as it pertains to our femininity. We're being constantly told what's considered to be beautiful, what's the ideal. And if we don't fit into that ideal because we're either too tall, too short, too light, too dark, too outgoing, too introvert, too whatever. Your hair's too curly, your hair's too straight, you don't have baby hairs, you should have this color eyes, your lips should be this size, it's so much nitpicking that has been done to us, and typically it's been placed upon us, because as a child I didn't become body conscious until the adults around me started talking about parts of my body that I wasn't aware of. And so when you're now being you're a child, like 11 years old, 10, 11 years old, and you're formulating, nothing's really like boom, bang, bang out there, but you're formulating, your body's doing its weird growing, sprouting. We're not, and then people make comments about, oh, your butt, or girl, your breast is this. And then you get some uncomfortable comments, and then you're trying to now maneuver between this world of this new awareness of your body and what the reactions people give you. And you don't understand why they're doing that, and then as we get older, whatever secrets and traumas and pains that we've experienced as it pertains to our yonis, we cover it and mask it through our education, through our careers, through maybe our children, if we have children, or we use something to mask this or to cover up this feeling of shame and guilt. And it doesn't have to be particular to our yonis. It could be with anything. But as I'm talking specifically to this area that's so sensitive and so vital of our experience, that it really is a center point. That's why they call it the sacred seat of the soul. It's a center point for us to recognize our divinity. And what makes us divine is not the point that, oh, this area is used to have children, because that's what we're taught. We're taught that your yoni, your womb, your vagina, vulva space is only meant for your husband when you're married, right? And it should be only given to him when he wants it, and to produce children, to be fruitful and abundant. And one of the things I think is a disservice to women in general is this concept and idea that our yonis, our wombs, and our bodies are here specifically to mass produce children. As we look over the world and we see how motherhood is now YouTube went out. Oh, is YouTube out, guys? Oh, if you guys are on YouTube, let me know in the comments hopefully it's not out, but I'll try to reload on my end, because it's letting me know I'm still fine. But you guys let me know if you guys are still on YouTube. Oh, but awesome. But hey, I see more of you guys coming in. Thank you guys for coming in. But I was saying about this concept that our bodies are used to mass produce children. And when that is done, as we see around the world, but the way our society is set up, okay, it's fine on your end, Raven. Okay. It could be locally, guys. It might be where you guys are at. But motherhood is now poverty. Motherhood is the closest way to poverty. If you look worldwide, even here in America, yeah, we have a lot of these safety nets or whatever may have you if you were, but a lot of those things are not always going to be around. I honestly believe a lot of these safety nets are not going to be around much longer. And when women are mass producing children or are having children based on the concept of be fruitful and multiply, and not having the proper provisions to have these children, it creates poverty. And I'm really sensitive to that, to women being aware of our bodies and our cycles, because we have the first say and the final say of as far as who can come in. We say yes, and what comes out. And in that, I want women to be more empowered in that part of themselves. I want to see more women utilize this energy, not just to create children. You can do more than create children. Yes, if that's what you want to do, create children. I'm totally with motherhood's wonderful and beautiful, so I'm not against motherhood. I just don't like it being weaponized. Motherhood has been weaponized on women and been given as if that's the only option that you have. Actually, there is no option. That's what you do. That's what you're created for. Like you're some type of vessel, a slave, a cow, right? They really have perversed the cow And for those who are familiar with mythology, Hathor, which is an Egyptian or Kemetic goddess, which is the goddess of fertility. She's also the goddess of agriculture and a few other things, sensuality as well in family and home. And she's also the mother of the sun god Ra. But anyway, she is represented by the cow because of how she gives life with her body, right? The cow gives nourishment to her calf, right? And the woman does the same thing with her breast. Not only does her body create a new life, but she can use her body to nourish this life and sustain this life. So she's known as the sustainer, right? So what has happened to the cow, or the symbology of the cow, or the woman, is that she has been mass produced like a cow. She has been put into a factory, given a rhetoric, given a role, perhaps I could say like she's given a role, and this is the only role you're permitted to play. So you're either a mother or a whore, and there's no fluctuation between both expressions, right? You can only be this or that. And this is where we create this dichotomy within ourselves as far as a housewife or a hoe, or we have the lady and the whore, or whatever, this whole split between us, right? Earth and Venus. Instead of saying it's all feminine energy, we seem to want to separate it, right? Like with the WAP song situation. Oh, if you talk about WAP, you're not going to get married, but yet we have a married woman, or a woman who was married or is whatever married that made the song. It's her song. And then we have this other expression as that, oh, well, if you're a whore, like it's just interesting to seeing this dynamic play out with Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, the song, and then just everything that has come since then, and where people are putting their repressed and suppressed emotion on other people, when actually it's all our own suppressed or repressed emotions about how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about our bodies, how we feel about the identification of our senses. Or are we even identifying our senses? Do we deny ourselves from our senses? Do we try to run from it? Do we run from our shadows? Do we run from our fears? Do we run from our desires? Are our desires ours? That's the word I was looking for. And that's something else that has really been a wonderful journey for me as it pertains of tapping into a Yoni practice. And it really just started about being aware. One of I want to make sure I don't give so much information. I want to make sure everything ties together. So we're talking really about the importance of being aware of yourself and sitting with the self and sitting with your Yoni. A practice I would like to give you ladies to do as a starter to get to know yourself is the mirror challenge, right? So with a mirror, you take a pocket mirror or just a mirror in general, whatever you have. And you can sit with yourself and sit with your Yoni. And the reason you would do this is to have a heart-to-heart discussion with her, to really talk to her, to see how has she felt about the life you all have lived thus far, all right? And allow yourself and her to have a conversation about your experiences and how she truly felt with these experiences, and to be receptive to yourself, to hear yourself about, okay, when this happened, or when we did this, or, whatever it is that may come, to allow that to just really be expressed. And then allow yourself to have compassion for yourself. This is a compassion project, or a compassion exercise. Because I shared in a post that I did this, and I developed shame and guilt upon looking at myself. And when I did that, it was because of different experiences and times when I wish I would have spoke up and didn't, and did things that I necessarily didn't want to do, but you don't want to ruffle feathers, or whatever those situation may have been, or why you don't do whatever, right? And be able to sit with yourself and to make peace, right? it's about making peace with yourself, so you're not at war, because we seem to be at war, internal war. It's the subconscious mind and the conscious mind battling it out with each other, and then the unconscious mind is throwing monkey wrenches along with the subconscious mind, and everybody's having this whole battle of attention. Who's going to get the attention? And our yonis are crying out for attention. When we're having bleeding, we're crying for attention. When we have unusual discharges, that's a cry for attention. There needs to be attention. Fibroids, all of these ailments and discomforts that we are experiencing is our body's way of trying to let us know, hey, I need some attention right now. It's time for some compassion. It's time for some care. It's time for some maintenance. It's time to really reconnect and redirect and reorganize, right? So that project is for you ladies to do for this week until next weekend or next Yoni talk. So do the mirror challenge. The purpose of doing this is so that we can really really get deep into what we need to talk about, because we're going to start having some private conversations where we all can kind of talk and really go into this Yoni experience. So we won't be alone on this, you know. We need to explore the topic of the hoe and the whore. Yeah, exactly. We need to, and that's exactly what I would like this series to go into. We're talking about all concepts of it as it pertains to Yoni, whether it's sex, whether it's pleasure, whether it's creative, whether it's our body functions, you know, all of that it pertains to ideologies, lifestyle choices, you know, everything that can pertain to. We're going to go into that. So definitely, yes, ma'am, we're talking about it. But I'm going to go ahead and narrow down. If there's any other comments or anything that you guys want to say, please go ahead and feel free to type that in the chat so we can discuss, or talk about anything you guys may have. Awesome. Well, I do want to give a book recommendation. And actually, I'm putting something together for you all too, so we can have this all together. But I want to recommend this book called The Tao Tantric Arts for Women. So this book, I mentioned this book before, but I want you ladies to look into getting this book. It's on Amazon. I'll ensure to leave a link for you all. But it would be really nice for you ladies to get this book. Starting in the within this fall, I would like to be doing a few practices that's in this book. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do the private group, because I really don't like Facebook. There is this website that I've been working with that you can create your own, like, it's like a you know how like a Facebook group, it's like a Facebook group, but it's not on Facebook. So it's like you can create your own group on this network website. So I'm trying to find something, because I really don't like to use Facebook too much. I want to get off of using those platforms. What is the name of the book that talks about fibroids? Oh, this book here. This would be Dr. Christine Northup. I'll make sure I put this one in the chat as well, or in the description. Woman's Bodies, Woman's Wisdom. She's a wonderful resource, and she's an actual OBGYN. So that uses, of course, the medical and metaphysics or Eastern practices. She uses both Western and Eastern practices as it pertains to healing the body. And I really, really appreciate her work. Really appreciate her work. So yes, but all right then. Well, that is that. I'll be making announcement today's Wednesday. I'm gonna wait till tomorrow to make this announcement. I'll make an announcement tomorrow for you guys. As you guys know, my birthday's this weekend, so I have an announcement that I'll be making about that for you guys, but I'll wait. It'll be tomorrow on my Instagram. So if you guys are on Instagram, you'll get the announcement. Okay. So sorry. Or if you're on my Instagram or in my email list, you'll get the announcement tomorrow. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you guys are on my email list or on my Instagram, that part. But all right, guys, this is fun. Thank you guys for tuning with me in for the Yoni episode 2, Yoni Talk Wednesdays. This has been fun. I look forward to chatting up with you all later within the week. Until next time, peace.